Welcome inside the W.B. Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. Ryan LaFay alongside Captain Angelis, the head coach of the Hofstra field hockey team. 2 games this past week, Coach. Let's start with the game against Maine at home, a familiar foe in the University of Maine, now ranked number 20th in the nation as well. A 4-1 loss. Lone goal in the game was by Madison Sauvé, her 3rd of the year. What stood out to you the most in that game?
Well, I thought we competed very well. Our challenge now is looking to compete at a higher level, and our schedule from the start of the season is nationally recognized programs, and that is so we are challenging ourselves in all these matches early on to get us to a level that we're going to be prepared in the league, in the CAA. So I felt the Maine game we played really, really well. We were not able to finish behind the net. We had some opportunities, and Maine's defense did a great job on our striker line and a great job in our midline. But overall, I thought we had a great game plan, and we continued to stay focused, and Maine capitalized when they had those breaks.
Next up on the schedule was a Sunday game against Syracuse, now the number 1 team in the country. 5-1 defeat, but your team was in it early on. Kara Swan, a career-high 14 saves, kept you in the game. What stood out to you the most in that game as well?
Yeah, well, we had, I thought, again, a great game plan where we had every player understanding, what our game plan was against Syracuse. And for 22 minutes, it was scoreless. It was 1-0 at halftime. We had opportunities. We didn't get great shots off, but we certainly had some opportunities, and we had some breaks in the second half. Still, like I said, I don't think the score, really indicates how well we played as a team and also at that level. And we're going to take away this past weekend, with a lot of different opportunities that we gained from that weekend as far as experience goes in playing against top caliber teams, and try to transition that to our practices and training sessions this week, and look to play and perform at that level. So we're getting ready for that we still have non-conference, but we're getting back. Our mind is always a CAA.
Right, and early on this season, 3 of the 4 teams first up are nationally ranked teams, some of the best teams in the country. Is that intentional, not only to set that, have so many ranked teams early on the schedule, but this early on the schedule, through the first 4 games of the season?
Right, well, scheduling is, takes a lot of work, and by design, it takes a tremendous amount of time when you're trying to get an ACC school here, American school here, a Big Ten school, and we're trying to play those type of teams. So when we're able to schedule them, that's when we have to put them in, and certainly before our league starts. If we start off with them, then we can actually set a tone as to the level we want to compete at, and not get shocked if we schedule them later on. So I think it worked really well in our favor to schedule them early, and again, just to be able to set that tone.
I know earlier on, just 4 games so far this season, but offensively, anybody really standing out, I should say, in the midfield area? We know Claudia Marion Samper and Stella Schern should be 2 of the highest scoring players on this team, but anybody really making strides early on this season?
Well, I think the midfield, overall, we've got a few who we're subbing into this mix right now, and I think it's been a great balance. I think all of them playing in that midfield are doing a good job. We have to do a better job. We want to attack in the midfield, and that's going to be our philosophy, to learn to attack in the midfield. And if we can do that, we have strikers. We have several strikers, not even to just mention Stella and Claudia. Those are our big guns, and they're expected to execute. But as you've mentioned early on, Maddie Sauvé has really come into training camp ready to go, and we have a lot of aspirations for her. It's going to, again, take some time to, she didn't get a lot of playing time last year, but she worked real hard in the off season, and her skill set is just tremendous. So we've got to work with, and she has tremendous speed as well. So I think she's going to do a great job alongside Stella and Claudia. And their expectations are very, very high, and she's working with them quite well.
And just looking ahead to this week as well, 2 games at Yale University, one against the University or Sacred Heart University, an 0-4 team right now, and then the host Yale as well. So what do you see in those 2 teams? What are you trying to do differently this week?
Right. Well, personally, from my perspective and our staff's perspective, we need to take away the opportunities that we got and the experience that we have gained in these preseason games at this level, and continue to work on our game with Hofstra and challenge ourselves in these training sessions this week, so that we are able to play at that level regardless of what team we play. Certainly going into back on the road again to Sacred Heart at Yale, a team that's 0-4, they've got nothing to lose, so they're going to come with knowing that on paper we're supposed to win the game. It's always a very challenging game, and they're a very good team, but when you play a team that hasn't won a game, then they just play a lot of times without fear, so we have to be prepared for that. And Yale has just always been a mainstay. I mean, we did beat them last year, but we've gone back and forth with them in years. So I think the most important thing with this team right now is to keep that mindset of competing at that next level. And that next level, the longer we can keep that up, I think we're going to really be in great preparation for the league.
Angelis, the head coach of the Hofstra field hockey team. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks, great being here.
And thank you for watching the W Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com.